This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video I will share my exceptional 11 Kentucky Derby contenders. And I'm covering all of the Kentucky Derby 2025 points races on my channel. I uploaded my Tampa Bay Derby video earlier this week for Saturday, March 8th, and you can watch that one now if you're interested. And I posted my latest Kentucky Derby 2025 report earlier this week at therunawayhorse.com on my Kentucky Derby page. Now, my weekly Derby reports include points race recaps, updated point standings, and my exceptional 11 Derby contenders. And I will include a link to my latest Derby report in the video description below. This Saturday, March 8th, I am offering full card analysis at Santa Anita in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Derby Day, 12 races. Santa Anita's running 11 races on Saturday. And you can purchase my Santa Anita and Tampa Bay full cards individually, or you can get a discount when you purchase them together as part of my weekly Saturday special for $16. And I also have a new product debuting this week, my Kentucky Derby Prep Race Package. And if you purchase this package, you will get my analysis and wagering strategies for all of the remaining Kentucky Derby points races. You'll also get my weekly Derby reports and my Kentucky Derby Day full card at Churchill Downs later this spring. So go over to therunawayhorse.com on my sales page for more details if you're interested in that package. Now it's time to share my exceptional 11 Derby contenders, beginning with number 11, Patch Adams. Now, Patch Adams is going to be running in the Tampa Bay Derby. He's on the outside post in a 7-horse field. He has good early pressing speed. Let's see if he can bounce back and get forwardly placed this time, like he did in his maiden win second time out when he pressed the pace as the strong favorite. And he was able to win that race by 10 lengths. He was geared down at the end. That was at 7 furlongs at Churchill. Strong effort there. Then he made his debut in a Kentucky Derby points race in the Grade 3 Southwest Stakes on January 25th, but he didn't get out of the gate in good order. He bobbled at the start. He was much further back than they expected him to be early, and he did make a nice wide, sustained run, and he was able to move up and get into second place in the stretch, but he couldn't keep the momentum going. And he just ended up finishing fourth there. He just did miss third. So overall, not a bad effort considering his start, his trip, and he should have gotten a good experience out of that one. Now he has that stakes experience. He has a bullet workout for the Tampa Bay Derby. He drew the comfortable outside post, and if he can get out of the gate in good order, they can either go out to the lead if they're interested, or they can just track the pace outside in the clear and get the jump on closers like Chancellor McPatrick and Hill Road, a couple of Chad Brown trainees who look like decent contenders in that Tampa Bay Derby. So hopefully Patch Adams does bounce back. We'll see how good he is if he can get onto the road to the Derby and pick up some important points if he runs well in that Tampa Bay Derby. 10th on my list is Burnham Square, and this one is the son of Liam's Map, and Scat Daddy is the dam sire. Ian Wilkes is the trainer here. He's down a couple spots. He was ranked 8th on my last rankings, and he's dropped down to 10 now. Now, he did look good when he was able to win the Holy Bull Stakes, and he defeated my top choice there, Tappan Street, and Tappan Street got the jump on him, but then Burnham Square was able to make the last run there and win that race nicely. But then in the Fountain of Youth Stakes, he didn't run the same kind of race. He was just rallying mildly, and he just did miss third by a neck. Just didn't run quite as well as he did in that Holy Bull Stakes. But for Burnham Square, he's one that he still has some ability. I think longer races could be better for him, but he does seem like a grinding type closer. He's just going to keep coming at you, and those longer distances could suit him well, but he doesn't really seem to have gears where he has like a big move. But it looks like the Bluegrass Stakes on April 5th at Keeneland is going to be his next start. The horse that is 9th on my list is Tappan Street, and I just mentioned him finishing 2nd in the Holy Bull Stakes, and he hasn't run since then. That was only his 2nd career start. His debut, he won by 1 3/4 lengths. That was at 7 furlongs at Gulfstream. That was late in 2024. And then he was able to stretch out in distance and run a quality race in the Holy Bull, rallying from off the pace, getting the jump on Burnham Square. But then Burnham Square made the last run and got past him. But he was clearly second best there. He was 9 1/4 lengths in front of the show finisher in that Holy Bull Stakes. And he's one that is targeting the Florida Derby at Gulfstream on March 29th. The horse that I have an 8th on my list is Caldera. This is a Liam's Map colt, and Tisnow is the dam sire, Dwayne Lucas trainee. He was ranked 9th in my last ranking, and he's moved up to number 8. And he was able to break his maiden at Oaklawn in January, and that was a 2-turn race. And then he came into the Sunland Derby, his first start against winners in his first Kentucky Derby points race. That was on February 16th, and he ran a good race there. Now, Getaway Car was able to win that one, and he was my top choice there. But he just had more experience than Caldera. Getaway Car for trainer Bob Baffert. He had good speed, and he was one that had a lot of stakes experience. Caldera was just coming out of a maiden victory, and Caldera ran a good race. Getaway Car set the pace. Caldera was stalking wide, and they battled down the stretch, and he just did miss by a nose. So he's one that seems to be a developing 3-year-old for D. Wayne Lucas, and possibly the Louisiana Derby at Fairgrounds on March 22nd will be his next start. And the horse that I have 7th on my Derby list is Coal Battle. This is a Coal front colt, and Midshipman is the dam sire. Lonnie Briley is the trainer here. He was ranked 11th last time, so he's moved up nicely on my list. And he's one that's won 3 Kentucky Derby points races. He won the Remington Springboard Mile, the Smarty Jones Stakes, and the Rebel Stakes. And he used different running styles in those races. And when that Springboard Mile, pace was fast, he sat back, closed nicely, and got the job done. Smarty Jones Stakes, slow pace there. So it was a slow early, fast late event. And he was battling right up on the pace. And he was able to run a quality race there. And then in the Rebel Stakes, 4 horses were both forwardly placed. And he was able to sit in 5th behind those 4 horses and getting a jump on the deep closers. And he was able to win that race as well. So he's definitely having a good season in these Kentucky Derby points races. He's an overachiever. He's very likable. He's one that really doing well. He had a workout earlier today in Coal Battle. Look for him to do some damage in these upcoming points races. If he continues to hold form, I wouldn't be surprised if he ran well in his final Kentucky Derby points race coming up. Now, the next horse in line is number 6, Captain Cook, for trainer Rick Dutrow. And Practical Joke is the sire. Indian Charlie is the dam sire here. He was ranked 7th on my last list, and now he's moved up a spot to 6th. He won the Wither Stakes in his last start. Another one that's jumping up pretty quickly and doing well. Prior to the Withers, he broke his maiden in the slop, so he jumped right up into the stakes ranks, and he looked professional in that Wither Stakes, tracking the pace and winning that one nicely. And he's gearing up for a start in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial Stakes. That's on April 5th. So he's one that, even though the Wood Memorial, though, has been a prep race that we haven't seen horses do well when they run in the Wood Memorial and then they run in the Kentucky Derby. It's been a while, I think since 2003, since the last time we saw a horse win the Wood Memorial and then also the Kentucky Derby as well. And now we're up to my top 5, and number 5 is Sandman, and this is a son of Tappan, and Distorted Humor is the dam sire here. Mark Cassie's the trainer. He was ranked 6th on my last ranking, and now he's moved into the top 5. And he's probably the best 3-year-old out there that doesn't have a points race victory. Now, in that Southwest Stakes, he ended up just blowing the brake, spotting the field several lengths, and then he finished really nicely that day, and he was able to finish 2nd, only beaten a length. So that was a good effort there. And then I made him my top choice in the Rebel Stakes. And in that Rebel Stakes, he was able to finish nicely. He ended up finishing 3rd there. It was a good stretch run again for him. Much better trip, much better start there. And he did gallop out in front in the Grade 2 Rebel. So it seems like as he gets into longer distances, that could be a good thing for him. So an upcoming start at 1 mile and 1/8, I think, is going to bode well for him. And if he can get some pace help in a longer race and a clean trip, certainly I think he could easily win one of these stakes races coming up. Now, number 4 on my list is Barnes for trainer Bob Baffert. This is a son of Into Mischief, and American Pharaoh is the dam sire. And he was ranked 2nd on my list last time, so he's dropped a couple spots, but he didn't have any real problems in his last start. He's one that he didn't lose a lot of luster in that race in that San Felipe. But for him, he won his first 2 sprint starts, and he looked good winning the San Vicente Stakes. And then in that San Felipe, he did set the pace, and Journalism did run him down. But that was a fast race. I think Journalism got a 1:08 Beyer speed figure. Barnes was less than 2 lengths behind him that day. That was his first route start. So he still has a lot of ability. Don't know if he wants to go 1 1/4 mile. We don't know really about any of these at this point. But Journalism certainly seems like one that will get better with added distance. Not sure about Barnes, but certainly he's got one of the fastest 3-year-olds out there, finishing 2nd and a clear 2nd in that San Felipe Stakes. We'll see where they go next with him. He could go in the Santa Anita Derby. They could take him to Oaklawn for the Arkansas Derby. Not sure what Beffert's going to do next, but he'll decide. He has multiple horses that he's trying to decide which races that they're going to run in their final Derby preps. The horse that I have third on my list is Citizen Bull, your 2-year-old champion, a son of Into Mischief with Distorted Humor is the dam sire. Bob Beffert, the trainee, he was ranked third last time. He's still ranked third. And for him, he won all 3 of his starts over a route of ground. He won the Grade 1 American Pharoah Stakes going wire to wire last year, the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and then the Grade 3 Robert Lewis Stakes earlier this year. So he's just been able to get out there under Martin Garcia, and he goes out and he sets the pace and he keeps on going. And we'll see where he goes next. It's actually the Santa Anita Derby is the spot that they're targeting. They decided to skip the San Felipe Stakes and target the Santa Anita Derby. And that's on April 5th at Santa Anita Park. The horse that's second on my list is Journalism. I've always liked this one. This is son of Curlin, and Uncle Mo is the dam sire. Michael McCarthy is the trainer. He was ranked 4th last time. He jumps up 2 spots. He's ranked number 2 on my list now. And for this one, he's 3 for 3 around 2 turns. He broke his maiden at 1 mile, and then he won the Los Alamitos Futurity, a Grade 2 late last year, and then the San Felipe Stakes. So I like that he has that tactical speed. He can just sit there within hailing distance of the leaders. When you have those horses that have that good cruising speed, they can just get up there and they can track the pace, and then they have a strong finishing kick. Those kind of horses can be dangerous in these Derby preps and then also in the Triple Crown Series. So for Journalism, shown a lot of ability in his races. That San Felipe was fast. He's in peak form right now, and he's going to have his final race probably in the Santa Anita Derby prior to the Kentucky Derby. Again, it's on April 5th at Santa Anita, and I think he's going to really enjoy extra ground as well. 1 1/8, probably 1 1/4, not going to be any problem. So Journalism, a strong Derby contender at this stage. And my top-ranked Derby contender is Sovereignty, and he's always been my top-ranked Derby contender. Strong pedigree, Into Mischief, Bernardini, the dam sire, trainer Bill Mott. As I said, his last ranking was number 1. I've always had him ranked on top, and I was happy to see him come back and win nicely in the Fountain of Youth. But his final start last year was in the Grade 3 Street Scent Stakes, and he went last to first, broke his maiden in that race at Churchill, that Kentucky Derby points race, and he was my top choice. And then the Fountain of Youth came up, and I made him my top choice again. I thought, if they were going to beat him, that was probably the day that they were going to beat him, because he was coming off of a layoff. 1 16th at Gulfstream, probably wasn't fully cranked, his first start in more than 4 months, and he did get sick earlier this winter. He had gaps in his workouts, and then he came into the Fountain of Youth Stakes with 4 steady workouts, and he wasn't fully cranked there. That was just a prep race to get him ready, but then he was able to win it anyway. That was nice to see. He was able to sit back, he closed nicely in the stretch, and he was able to get up late and defeat River Thames by a neck. Good effort from Sovereignty, and I think that he's even going to be better in his next race. That was he got that race under his belt after a layoff, and now I think when he gets into races, just like Journalism, I think 1 1/8, 1 1/4, that's exactly what he wants. So I think he got a lot of fitness out of that Fountain of Youth. He should move forward next time, and we'll see where Bill Mott decides to go for his final Kentucky Derby points race. So Sovereignty number 1, Journalism number 2. Really like both of those horses. Obviously, from a tactical standpoint, Journalism has much better tactical speed, but Sovereignty does have that strong stretch kick. So it looks like at this point we have some promising horses on the road to the Derby. We'll have to see how all that plays out. We still have a ways to go yet in these prep races. It's March 7th, the Kentucky Derby, first Saturday in May. We're getting closer to the Derby now, but a lot has to still be decided on the road to the Derby. So that'll wrap up my look at my exceptional 11 Derby contenders. And if you want a free pick each day, go over to therunawayhorse.com. Click on my Better Bets blog tab at the top of my homepage. You can get a free pick from around the country each day. And you can like, comment, and share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. It's free to subscribe. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.